Oh, the Raiders headed to Texas? What? The team reportedly looking for contingency plans if it needs to leave Oakland before the Las Vegas stadium it's building is finished. Possible locations include San Antonio's Alamo Dome or sharing the 49ers stadium in Santa Clara, California. Joining us now is CEO of the Brewer Group and former NFL star Jack Brewer. Please make sense of this. What the heck is going on?
I love it. I think it's good for the league.
How's it? Wait, explain that. Continue, but how's it good for the league?
It's good for the league. You have a destination now that has a great climate. You can have Super Bowls there. If you want to play the Pro Bowl there, you can. And we all love to go to Vegas. I mean, it's a place where they are used to hosting events, and the National Football League games are events. So I love it. I think it's great for the league. I think it's good for that team. They needed to get out of Oakland. Oakland just can't support a National Football League team right now. I played 5 years in the NFL, and I couldn't stand going to Oakland. The stadium was old, fans right on top of you. I mean, give these guys something to play for in a great environment.
But what about the way station of Texas? I mean, that kind of throws a wrench into the plans, doesn't it?
A little bit. You know, Texas is Texas. They're going to support any football team that comes into San Antonio and plays in that Alamo Bowl. You know, I'm from Texas, but you know that's just going to be a temporary place for the Raiders to play if they end up having to go there. They're getting a lot of backlash from the state, from the city about them leaving. So right now it's
right.
a battle.
Well, speaking of the battle, we talk about the pain of Oakland's loss. The residents are reportedly responsible for paying $95 million for the Raiders Coliseum there. The city paid for renovations in '95 with taxpayer-backed bonds and planned to pay it off through personal seat licenses, but they didn't sell enough of them. East Bay taxpayers will also be on the hook for the Warriors Arena after the team departs for San Francisco to the tune of $68 million. Fair or not? It's just the way the financing of these improvements in stadiums works sometimes.
Like President Trump said, it's just a bad deal. They negotiated a bad deal. I mean, it's a business at the end of the day. I don't look at professional sports teams as something that, you know, cities or states are entitled to. You know, these are organizations that are owned by individuals that they're trying to make money, and they're going to strike the best deal. I mean, look, you see what Vegas did? They gave them $750 million towards their stadium. They're building a $1.9 billion stadium. It'll be the most expensive stadium ever built, even more expensive than the Dallas Cowboys stadium that Jerry Jones built. So I think this is all great for the organization.
And this isn't just an Oakland Raiders situation. I mean, now we have the Los Angeles Chargers because Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego was becoming dilapidated. Teams didn't like playing there. The capacity, it has to do with the infrastructure that these cities are providing and getting back to that infrastructure. Vegas has it, especially when it comes to conventions. They have the space. So the NFL is an entertainment business. They want to put on a good show, especially because they have one of the biggest things they do is the Super Bowl. So that all plays into it as well. It's a big money business, and so the stadiums and the infrastructure are the biggest aspect of it.
But you do have, I mean, cities that just depend on the revenue and the business that comes from having these major stadiums there. I mean, I know it's a business decision, but for a lot of these local economies, they depend on the sports teams.
But Jack,
right?
couldn't they create a better environment? I mean, I think about if you play in California, even if you're a visiting player, you have to pay the California tax rate for playing a game there. So I can imagine that there are a lot of NFL players, not only the ones in Oakland, but the ones across the country who are celebrating. They're going to make more money every game they play that they don't have to play it in California.
No doubt. I couldn't stand playing California games. You know, you get your tax return at the end of the year, and you got to file in 10 different states. So that's a great point, Governor Huckabee. But back to your point. You know, it is sad for a city to lose a team, but I think it comes down to the fact of if they've had 2 decades to negotiate this deal, and really if they wanted to commit to the Oakland Raiders, they would have built them a stadium before. You can make stadiums profitable. These aren't things that drain your economy. They actually create jobs, and so I don't feel sorry for Oakland for losing.
What is it about Oakland that brings in so many different kinds of fans from all over?
I don't know. It's very eclectic. I can tell you that. You don't know whether
It used to be super gritty. I mean, it still is parts of it. But then you got all the uber liberals like in place nearby Berkeley who just would rather sit around and like pat themselves on the back for being counterculture. Oh God, don't get me started. I want to point out, but the casino shares People are betting on this Raiders move to Las Vegas. The shares in a lot of these casinos jumped after the news that the NFL had approved this move.
Yes, it did.
It's
I think
good for the city.
You saw a good jump in the Wynn stocks. I think also the Sands Resorts saw a good little bounce there. I'm not sure how long that'll last, but I think you will see over the long term, you'll see more people coming to Vegas. I know myself personally, I'll probably go to a couple games a year that I wouldn't have normally gone to just because of the venue being there.
Or plan your Vegas trip
the
around
game.
NFL season. Real quick, Final Four, who do you got?
You know what?
To win it all.
To win it all, North Carolina, I want to see a battle of the Carolinas. I love that South Carolina defense. I think Gonzaga, if Gonzaga was coming into this Final Four as a number 10 seed, I'd probably be rooting for them, but I'm not used to seeing Gonzaga as a number 1 seed.
NC and SC.
That's right.
And as much as I hate the Tar Heels, I don't hate them as much as the Blue Devils. So go Carolina.